And it had to do with Final Fantasy VII. And, there's conversations are going on and people are talking online and people are saying stuff. But, some of that conversation sort of drifts into different territories. And, it's okay to criticize things or it's okay to talk about things. But sometimes people, those conversations, they had very bad defense against the Netherlands. Yes, they did. They did. I did talk about it on the stream here. I said I was sort of expecting Sweden to grab another goal before the end of the first half, but they didn't, and then they sort of fell to pieces in the second half. Anyway, that's football. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, so people were like sort of criticizing things, but like about Final Fantasy VII and the remake and how it doesn't live up to the original and all that. But I feel like they're taking it a bit too far, especially like some people have been taking what Maximilian Dude has said and blowing it way out of proportion. And I don't think that's cool. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in the whole situation because I'm a huge fan of that, of the franchise and the series as well. So like, he's been desperately trying to protect himself without venturing into that territory, and he's been trying to stay on the constructive engagement side. But there's other people that just come in and trash him. They come in and they say that like he sold himself off to Square Enix because why? Because he had Hamaguchi over and he interviewed him on the same day that they revealed Revelation. So because he did that, he obviously sold himself off to Square Enix. It's not because that the company thought that he does a good job of fostering positive engagement. No, he totally sold himself off so he can never say anything negative about the game. Right? That's what's going on. Anyway. So yeah, this is him desperately trying to hold on to some positive engagement to keep it like sort of to keep it not toxic and sort of maintain a level of how should I say it, of neutrality, where he's like, I'm not saying that the game is perfect, right? Because that's what people are accusing him of. He's being accused that he's saying that the games are perfect and that the games perfectly reflect what the original games had or what the original games were. When Square Enix then came out and said it's 95% of what the original games are and there's 5% new content. So people are just losing their minds. It's getting insane. It's getting heated and. Yeah, this is what he says. I don't agree on the writing overall. Think it hits a larger portion that I really enjoy, but everything else I totally would agree with you on, especially one of the scenes. It was way better, as simple and tragic in the OG, and hope Sid, Red 13 get their moments in part 3. See, he's trying to like give them a little bit of breathing space, trying to give them a little bit of ground to admit that like, hey, mate, it's not a perfect game. I didn't say it was a perfect game. And Max has done criticism, which he actually did post.
There's another thing
on Twitter
that leads into, as I finish up this personal review on the game that is not spoilery, that starts to get into spoilers but isn't, is storytelling. And FF7 Rebirth tackles its overall approach to story the same way that Remake does, where about 95% of this game is pretty much classic FF7 one-to-one. Almost like all of this game is a lovely preservance of OG FF7 and a massive expansion therein. This game, as well as Remake, have a big issue in terms of its, I'd say, larger overscaling plot feeding to the audience.
So you can see that he's not. He put that clip out there, and he says, "Only seconds after an explanation where I completely agree with several criticisms of the story and how it's not handled well in many ways." And he has said this because I personally watch some of his streams, not all of them, because he goes on for like 8 hours a day. I have a life, but he does say that like the game isn't perfect. He has made extensive lists of what they could do to improve the game. Of what they could do to improve part 3, before it comes out. But people are just insane. And why I'm doing this, why I'm sitting here talking right now instead of playing my own video games, is because like I personally think that if like Max Dude is a person who, a game creator, a content creator, sorry, not game creator. He didn't create the games. He's a content creator who sort of like is a breath of fresh air to the industry, because he just exudes excitement about the games he likes, right? He's constantly excited, and he thrives off good video games and good vibes and a good atmosphere, and he likes to talk about video games, and he likes to talk about the things that he doesn't like, but he talks about the things that he doesn't like in video games. He does it in a very positive and constructive manner. He says that, like, oh, you know, this game, if it did this a little bit better, it would have been even better. Or he might say that, like, I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that in the game. You know, do it that way, you idiots. And he does it. He says it in his own way that really reflects on the current lingo, the way that every single person is thinking nowadays and talks. It's like he sort of like reflects on how most gamers are thinking and behaving, right? It's like he's taking all those things that we think and like want to say. So, you know, to take that and turn it into, like, I don't know, you're a Square you know, fanboy, to minimize it, you know, because there are, what they've done, and I've blocked the people who did that. Unfortunately, I should have kept them so you could see what I'm talking about. They've taken clips, very selective clips from what he said, and they've put them in little videos they've made so they can show that he sold himself off to Square Enix, or he's trying to become like a voice piece for Square Enix to promote Square Enix's products. It's not like that. Like, I know content creators who do that. I know content creators who come out there and say only positive stuff about the games of game companies, so they can be seen, and so that the game company can choose them, and so they can. It's like their little pick-me's, but for game companies. Max Dude isn't that. Max Dude is honestly excited. Like, he's like me, like a lot of us. He played the original when he was young, and when he saw the remake, he honestly got excited about it. And he just stayed online and continued to share that excitement. And that excitement gained traction. And that, like, the traction brought him more followers. So to try and take that, and it's honestly, this is happening only because he got Hamaguchi to come to his house and he interviewed him one-on-one. And a lot of people are being jealous and spiteful about that. That's literally all it is. So if you're going to sit there and tell me that Max sold himself to Square Enix, my response is, you're just a jealous person. You're a jealous and a spiteful person, and you should stop what you're doing. And if people are coming at you, you think that people are coming at you in a hateful manner and you're losing followers, well, maybe you should reevaluate your attitude. And that's all I have to say on that. And that's all the time we're going to spend on this, because literally it's just a whole toxic situation of people constantly coming out and finding that, like, oh, Rebirth did this wrong, Rebirth did that wrong, and they added Chadley, and they added Whispers, and they added this content, and that content wasn't in the thingo, and you know, the Revelation trailer only got 800,000 views. It's like, who cares, mate? Who cares? Do you like? It boils down to, do you like the video game? Are you excited for the video game? Yes, play it. No, don't play it. Don't follow it. People sitting there and farming attention and engagement from deconstructing a video game is literally one of the most toxic things you could ever do. One of the most toxic things you could ever do. Like, imagine me sitting here and talking about all the bad things that Crimson Desert does, and just making little listicles of all the bad things it does. Like, that will be bad for me. That's bad for the creator. But I guess if it brings followers in and it keeps the money coming, right? I guess it's a neat thing to do. But I don't understand the logic of someone who goes and follows a person like that. Like, okay, maybe I do it, maybe I start talking negatively about all video games. Like, I've done criticism of video games before. I've talked bad about video games, and I've talked about things that I don't like in certain video games, but like, that's not all I do, And for someone to just have his entire platform based on, and to be known publicly for just being that, for just being someone who talks bad about video games, I don't know. It just seems like that person seems like a very toxic person. And the funny thing is that it's like he's gaining a following, and now there's more of them coming out. So it's like, oh, okay, so you're publicly becoming known as the group who hates a video game. Kudos. Like, okay, so what do you want to do with that? Like, do you want to be known as? Do you want to do? Do you want to do what with it? What do you want to do with that attention? It's like that. They don't just want to hate the game. They try to convince others why they're stupid for hating that game, and they're trying to get them on the train of hating the game, of not buying the game, of telling the company that it was bad of them to create the game. But there are actively people out there who enjoy these games, right? You know that there's a whole group of people out there who were hyped when they saw Final Fantasy VII Revelation and they saw the trailer, right? You could tell there's hundreds of videos online of people screaming their lungs out, Max included and me included, when we saw that trailer. That's not us denouncing the game. That's not us saying that the game is bad, But you can sit in your little corner hating it. That's fine. Like, you do you. But you can't insult people who like the game, who enjoy the game. Like, that it doesn't work that way. Because, like, you attacking Max, you taking clips out of Max and saying that, oh, look, he sold himself off the screens. But Max is not the only person who enjoys this game. I enjoy it. Like, so many others enjoy it. And what, you're going to just say that, oh, yeah, we just don't know how to positively enjoy art. You know how pretentious that makes you sound? And the funny thing is, Max is trying to have he's still trying to have a constructive conversation with them, but they just cancel every single one of his points. They cancel them out with some sort of weird logic. And they try to put themselves that, like, they have the moral high ground on hating the game. Okay, so you hate it. So what is your point? What do you want to make of this? What?
And FF7 Rebirth tackles its overall approach to story the same way that Remake does, where about 95% of this game is pretty much classic FF7 1-to-1. And
I mean, okay, let's say that Max doesn't let's say that Max doesn't make any good points, right? Let's say that Max is flat out lying. Let's say that Max has been sold off to screenings. Even all those facts do not mean that the Final Fantasy VII Remake series is a bad remake series, or that it has a following. There's people out there who enjoy it. And you can't go publicly online insulting those people, saying, oh, they're dumb, and saying that you have the moral high ground because the remake series is not a one-on-one reflection of the original. Look at this comment. Look at this dumbass comment. I'm still waiting. He's talking to Max, right? I'm still waiting for your objective criticism of the remakes and not the biased ones you always make. Still waiting for that, because I'm 100% sure that if you did, you wouldn't be saying what you have, guaranteed. Max gives him 15 minutes of it, right? And he still goes on, I'll watch it later with the most open-minded version of myself and reach to a conclusion. This being said, I don't expect your opinion to have changed too much, considering all the fuzz around you in the last 3 weeks, but I'll be unbiased for those 15 minutes, right? And does his opinion need to change? What a strange guy. It's like, no, don't change your opinion. No one's asking you to change your opinion. But having that attitude that like the game must suck and everyone else must agree with you, otherwise they're morons. That's what's crossing the line. And you going and taking clips from Max and saying that he sold himself out or that he's biased or anything like that. There's no objective criticism. It's always subjective. If you don't like the remakes, that's fine. Most people who've played it really enjoy the remakes, and that's fine as well. Another thing is saying 95% of the remake of the games are one-to-one interpretations. That's not objective from his part. But it is objective. You literally get all the scenes from the start. You get it. The thing you get in the remake series is extra content. That's what you get. That's literally all we're getting. And people are complaining because there's extra content that wasn't in the original. Okay, fine. Don't look at the extra content. Just look at the content that was in the original and you're fine. But they're saying that, oh, it was changed. Well, what are you looking for? The exact same content? It's not the exact same content. Yes, it's been changed. It's been remade for new consoles, for modern day consoles. Did they tone it down a bit? Is there less blood? Yes. And that's one of the criticisms that I've made about the game as well. I didn't like that there wasn't any blood in the Genova building when you go to in the Shinra building when you go to the president's office, like in the original. I didn't like that there wasn't any blood in the dine scene, or as much blood. They toned it down for younger audiences. Okay, that's a criticism. But another is glazing them as masterpieces without acknowledging the faults of a failed remake, which doesn't actually remake the original. And the other thing is that they're just counting numbers, right? That it didn't sell as much as the original. You don't know how much this is going to sell in the long run, right? Some people are waiting for the whole trilogy to come out, and then they'll buy it. Don't be stupid. 95% is a way of him saying that most of each game is a pretty faithful retelling, which it is. Are there changes here and there to not only expand the story characters, but also create the idea that it's also possibly a sequel? It's not a sequel. It's not a sequel, and it's not an exact remake. Does that hinder your experience? Also true. This guy keeps on talking. I'm going to be real with you. Even if Max gives you an objective criticism, which he has, you still won't care. Pretty sure I wouldn't, because if he was objective, and so this guy is being objective, right? He would be as pissed about the treatment of the remakes as much as many are. No. Like literally, Max played the remake, and the first game of the remake. He saw all the trailers, all the remakes, every single part of it, and always him, like me, our jaws dropped for the work they've done. Now, I don't know how you could look at Final Fantasy VII Remake and be like, this sucks. What have they done to it? There's something objectively wrong with you when you look at something like that and are like, it sucks. Play the original, man. Stick to the original. That's what it's there for. You don't have to play the remakes. No one's coming out saying that the remakes are replacing the original. In fact, Square Enix's Hamaguchi's recent statements are saying exactly the opposite of that. That we're not remaking the OG. Literally, like the scenes from the OG have been remade, but it's not an exact remake. So the OG will always be there for you if you want to go and play it. People are playing Remake and Rebirth, and then they're going back and replaying the OG. Why? Because they want to see the difference. How about you actually watch his videos, actually criticize it, but then again, you're extremely biased towards your own. The funny thing is that he makes this extremely rude comment under Max's thread, and then he doubles down all the time. People like that thrive on attention, and don't give them any attention. I have, and if I'm saying this is because I have. I can't imagine living life with this much vitriol over video game opinions. You people are mentally ill. Holy shit. Why am I mentally ill? Funny thing is, you say us against the remakes are the aggressive ones, and look at you. Actually, it's the defenders, often the aggressive ones, but I digress. If you wanted objectivity, don't watch someone's personal view. You damn well know Max's love for FF7, so he knows you'll need to take certain aspects with a grain of salt. Well, if I criticize to death these games, that's my opinion too, and yet you people start crying when I criticize Papa Nomura. See, look at it, Papa Nomura. Is that how it works? Eventually he stopped. Because so many people, you know, but like, for real. I wouldn't want to see this. I wouldn't want to meet this person in real life. But it wasn't just him, right? It wasn't just him. There was other people. There's other people out there, but it all stemmed. It all started from one person, and I'm not even going to mention their name, who just started making all these videos, all these comparisons about how the remakes failed to live up to the original. Like, these people didn't just want a remake. They wanted a remake that would be liked by everyone, that would be a carbon copy of the OG. So not a remake, just pretty much the OG, just in better graphics. They wanted everyone to be playing it, not just them. So they wanted everyone to be coming out and saying, "Oh, what an amazing game it is," because they feel insecure about the things they like. So they need them to be accepted by everyone else. Otherwise, it's no good, And now they're angry at Square Enix because they did a subpar job because they added whispers. And they added Zack in there, who, by the way, Zack is the most popular character in the entire franchise. And they gave him a bit more airtime in this series, and now they're mad at them because Zack wasn't in the original. What are you doing? And that's just this group. I don't want to talk about the shippers, but yeah. Anyway, so that's what we're dealing with. I just wanted to put it out there because I feel like it's incredibly unfair for Max to be dealing with these people, with this type of community. And yet he did go online and he did address it during his stream yesterday, from what I saw. I don't think he did a live stream today, but he did talk about it yesterday a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I don't think he doesn't deserve any of this. Again, I mentioned it before. He's one of the people who bring so much positivity to the gaming industry, and he should not be treated like this. Anyway, that's all. Some people need to get some fresh air. Honestly, like, creating a community who sit there hating on video games is one of the most twisted things you can like. Okay, there's much worse things in the world, right? But it's just a very weird way to spend your time, fostering a community that sits there hating video games.